Hey everyone, how about something a little different? Maybe like a bonus video. My son and I were experiencing a little cabin fever today, so we decided to take a road trip. Temperatures were going to be in the mid-90s and a high percentage of rain. We wanted to get out of town, and we did, way out of town. I hope you enjoyed this video. In the past, it was rare for me to have the time, but we all seem to have a little extra time these days. Well, maybe not everybody. And I don't usually drive this fast, but I was trying to outrun thunderstorms and get to the museum as they opened. So please enjoy the Cryptozoology and Paranormal Museum and meet my friend Steve. So Steve, show me what you got there.
Well, I'm Steve from the Cryptozoology Museum. So we have here some of our most recent prints. This one here is impressive. This is a 19.5-inch print. Both these prints came out of Medoc Mountain State Park, two separate events. This one here is one of three. We only cast two of this size. This is a production company coming in from Watts Productions out of Virginia. They're coming to interview me like a lot of people do, and generally they interview me in front of the Bigfoot statue in the other room. In this case, they got here early, so I said, why don't we run to the park, do something different. So we go down to the park as we wander through. Now, we weren't planning on going there at all. And we walk into a spot where we had some recent events. Actually, another couple of guys actually found some prints and saw something. So I was bringing them to that area. Before we even get there, we come across a spot where all these trees are broken and snapped off. I mean, I'm talking 65, 75 trees. Some are 6.5 inches round. Some are dead. Most of them are healthy green trees. And broken in different areas. The tree canopy is intact. The leaf litter is intact. So it's not microburst, not leaf litter. Very strange. Well, anyway, I'm in there walking around looking at these broken trees. One of the camera woman is actually very much a skeptic, and she's looking around, and she actually finds the first print, and it's all documented, so you filmed the whole event. So she calls me over, we go over, we move back to leaf litter, and that's where we find this print. So I have to hike out now to go get my Bigfoot go bag, my evidence kit. End up leaving them in the woods for well over an hour, and so meantime they're freaking out, like, what if he doesn't come back? We don't know where we are. And while they're there, they find two more prints. So when I got back, I didn't have enough material but to cast this one and do my best on another one. Couldn't even touch the third. And the other one I had to leave. You can see this is a big print. I'm carrying out. It's still damp. Unfortunately, it's starting to break a little bit. That's why it's in this bed of plaster of Paris. This is the newest one. And this one here was a gentleman that actually came in out of Delaware. He came down here and he got a Bigfoot go bag from us, an evidence kit. And then I gave him a map. He goes down to Medoc Mountain. Now, we were closed at the time. We were still closed for the virus. He sends me a text and sends me some photos. Says, I found these prints. I look at them. They look really good. So I said, did you cast them? I figured he's calling me like, now what do I do with this kit, you know? And he goes, no, I didn't cast them. And he sends me a picture of a snake, and it's the copperhead. So he made a good decision, back away from the snake. So I said, where is it? So I run down there. This is where we're going through that tropical time. It's raining nonstop. So of course it's raining, I go down there, and on the way in, he gave me good directions, but I passed it. And as I turn around, come back out, moving out slower from the bridge, I see this print, and I realize where the other two are, they're destroyed already, water running down. So I quick dug a trough in front to keep the water from getting near this one. And if you look at the photo online, it was much more defined, but this is still not a bad print. You can see the toes. We've been lucky to get tons and tons of prints here. Lots of sightings. We just had a guy, Jesse Walker, have a sighting in his backyard on Moore Street. This is a gentleman that's not into Bigfoot, horrified, freaked out. He was literally crying in my front yard. Bring him in, we do the interview. Both his story and this both ran on coast to coast. It's just crazy. I mean, it's just sighting after sighting after sighting. And it's not me saying I saw Bigfoot, it's all these other people, and primarily people who are not even Bigfoot believers, but the bulk of them ones coming in who are just rattled and just don't know where to go, who to talk to. It's just been crazy. So that's really kind of what's been going on most recently as far as these sightings. We've been doing some more paranormal stuff because of the heat and the virus and the slower foot traffic coming into the museum. So I've been doing this piece now. I've been doing haunted hotels, going to primarily motel rooms that have had horrific crimes or murders in them, and trying to get in kind of covertly, hopefully get the room you want to get into and see what we pick up there. And we've been getting some pretty crazy stuff, so go to our YouTube channel, Stephan Barcelo, and check that out. We have a lot of stuff up there. But nothing else, come by the museum, check us out. We're your Cryptozoology Paranormal Museum in Littleton, North Carolina.
How long have you been here?
We've actually owned the house, which is an old haunted house, which I wasn't looking for. But I bought the house 7 years ago. It was like 7 years and a month now, the anniversary. But we didn't live here the first year. It was about a full year before we actually moved out. It was my daughter and then myself. Then it was even longer before my wife. We still had the house up in New York. Took us a while to get rid of that. But yeah, I wasn't looking for a haunted house. I was literally escaping. I was a journalist for the New York Daily News. I was escaping high taxes, a dying newspaper business, tolls and everything else. Somehow found this gorgeous little town, Littleton, North Carolina, and this big old historic house. Got it dirt cheap, house needs work, so we feel good about saving this house, but that's what we're doing. And we literally hired some local contractors to work here. Like I said, I was still working up north, and they were having issues. They were seeing shadow people, tools were moving, we had guys walking off the job, a lot of crazy stories. Now, I've had a background in paranormal, done some documentaries in it. So I come down here, I'm talking to the neighbors, they all have these stories. So I said, well, there's nothing touristy in this town, let's do some ghost walks. And we started off with ghost walks, and that spun into ghost huntings, ghost tours. And my wife's not into it. And I tell you, if we knew the house was haunted, she'd never let me buy the place. But we bought the place, it's ours. And it's been crazy. I mean, it's a big old house, 3 floors. We have an underground stream in the basement, a hidden room on the 2nd floor. This room here. We have a camera on this side to watch the Miss Beasley doll, but we've seen shadow people. We've actually, if you go on to once again, our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, you can see the shadow person we caught going down the hallway here. I mean, it's just nuts. I mean, I've done these documentaries. I would have died to catch half this stuff on one of these documentaries, and here it's just happening on a regular basis. So, then once you start the ghost tours, next you know the Bigfoot sightings start coming in, Medoc Mountain, the Howell-Pony tribe. And like I said, that woman, Tiffany Merrill, had a sighting behind us, and that's what really got things started. And she was so horrified by her sighting, she pulls her daughter out of school and moves away.
Can you share that story?
Sure. Well, Tiffany Merrill was literally on the phone with her mother. She moved in. I didn't even know she was living there. I knew her mom. Her mom was working at the Piggly Wiggly. And never even mentioned anything about her daughter. And so basically, it's January the 8th, 2016. Tiffany's on the phone with her mom discussing who's going to take her 5-year-old daughter, Bella, to kindergarten. Obviously trying to suck her mom into taking her daughter. And in the process of having this conversation, she hears this noise behind the house she's renting, which happens to be the kitchen window she's looking out. Sees this huge bipedal creature crashing through the woods behind her house. Roughly 8.5, 9 feet tall, jet black hair 6 to 8 inches long. Moving so quickly the hair's drafting behind it. Horrified. Her mom's still on the phone, says, "What's the matter?" Thinking it's an intruder. She explains to her mom what she's seen. Her mom says, "Call Steve around the corner. He knows about these things." And that's kind of how it all started. I went over, got the interview, and then it took off from there. So this is part of the museum here. We have our lovely statue. And obviously this is the one photographs. Now the reason we got this in, it's obviously not an exact copy of anything around here. It's a commercial statue. But it's closest to what we see around here. Basically a large hulking creature, bipedal, long shaggy hair. I don't think it has the beautiful hairdo that this guy's sporting here. But it's basically something. And basically here we've got some of the prints. These are actual prints that we've actually picked up along the way. These are actual prints that we've got out of J.S. Pope Road, these ones up here. That was a sighting from last summer. This one here is actually from Tiffany Merrill's backyard. Not a great print, but was the best one we got out of the batch. That's a sighting she had. I told you she moved away as she was horrified after her sighting. These 3 here are all different ones coming out of Medoc Mountain State Park, along with the ones I showed you in the other room. And then we have these 2 up here. I don't know how it's going to see it through the glass. These are the very first ones we've got. And these are out of Medoc Mountain State Park. This is a copy of this one. We make copies and give them to other museums so they can share them, and that's how we get some of the other prints. We've got getting so many original prints in now, we're starting to phase out a lot of the copies. We're not going to get rid of them. We'll put them aside to take on the road for the Paracons. But if I can get enough prints in here, we have all prints that have stories behind them. They're actual prints we've gotten. I'd much rather that. But you can see this is a very unusual print. We're not sure exactly what it is. Maybe it's a hand print more than it's a footprint. But it's a very unique print there. But you can see the muscle structure and some kind of like nails or claws or something. And if it's a bear, it's a huge bear. So.
Yeah, it's very cool.
We do have a few oddball looking prints in here. Yeti prints, these are copies of copies. Honey Island Swamp Monster prints. Actually, something we've just gotten in not too long ago, which is not on display yet, which you're going to have a really hard time seeing, is a skunk ape hair. Maybe if I put it by the light here. Very faint, but you can see it there. And this is a hair I'd be willing to send out for DNA testing, whereas some of the other stuff we've got looks kind of synthetic. But this one here is unusual. This was actually brought to us a gentleman who does a lot of Bigfooting.
Do people come to you and tell you about their sightings?
Yeah, we get people come in and talk to us. We have a database online. People report things, not just Bigfoot sightings, but we get UFO. We have, of course, paranormal stuff. Actually, we had a guy from England write to us and said his girlfriend put a hex on him. We had to write back and say, not exactly what we do, you know, but we get a little bit of everything here. So you never know what's going to walk in the door.
That's true.
It's a lot of fun. But don't forget to go to our YouTube channel. It's under my name, Stephan, S-T-E-P-H-E-N, Barcelo, B-A-R-C-E-L-O. And just go under the Crypto Paranormal section. If you want, you can go through the other stuff. I have a lot of celebrity stuff up there when I worked as a journalist at the Daily News, a lot of the Hampton scene stuff. But yeah, I've got, I think it's 112 or 113 videos right now on the YouTube channel. But please go check it out. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much.
We will be sure to share it. Thanks, Steve. When you make one of those impromptu road trips, you kind of forget to do the things you should have done, like I should have probably called him first and let him know that he was going to be interviewed. He's a gracious host, and I'd like to say thanks. My next trip down, I'll be sure to hit Medoc Mountain, and I won't forget my plaster of Paris. By the way, that 19-inch print equates to a 12 to 13-foot Sasquatch in Medoc Mountain, North Carolina. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for more encounter stories and podcasts. Also, the music in the beginning was by SKANDR, and it was called Road Trip. Have a great night.